Welcome back. In today's episode, we're going to watch the transformation in a client's craft room. Some of you may be familiar with Cass from her channel Clutterbug. Each person has an organizing style. My client took the Clutterbug quiz. She is a butterfly, which means she likes her items to be visible and to have them displayed. When her items are not visible, there's a fear of out of sight, out of mind. Once we know which clutterbug you are, we can easily meet your organizing needs. Since she is visible, we will be using clear containers and everything will be labeled. We also need open shelving and we will be having macro organizing. She took me into her home and showed me her craft room. We discussed her goals and what she was looking to achieve in her room. Since she has an in-home business, she wanted to set up different stations that she would be using. As you can see, we have a lot going on in this room. She has shelving and organizing supplies throughout the room, but none of them are being utilized. The space has become overwhelming to this family because not only has it taken over her craft room, but it has taken over other rooms of her home. I think at some point in our lives, we have all been in a place where we wanted to close the door and not deal with a situation. I know for myself, that would be my laundry room. It's a place that I keep hidden away from everyone, and the job seems so impossible that I don't even want to attempt to begin. Remember this, nothing is so fatiguing than the eternal hanging on of an uncompleted task. As soon as you enter the room, you will see massive storage of open shelving. This is where she stores all of her glitter that she uses for her business. The client decided the best way for this to be organized was by manufacturer's name. We then used a shelving unit for each manufacturer, and then we organized it by name of product. We stored the overflow in the drawers of her rolling cart. Everything is labeled for easy access. So, a summary of how we started on day one was number one, we identified the problem, and the problem was the craft room. Number two, we set a goal of what we wanted to achieve in that room. And her goal was she wanted different stations set up for her business. She had already prepared because she had tons of organizing supplies already. So that really did save us a lot of time. For step three, we chose the one area that we would be working on. So we chose the glitter section with all the shelving. I feel like that this did take the majority of time because it was so tedious because not only did everything have to be separated by manufacturer, you then had to go and separate it by the name of each glitter. Were there times when we wanted to stop working on the glitter and we might have even got sidetracked and wanted to start on something else? But we caught ourselves and we said, no, this is a rule you're going to set for yourself. I'm not going to start on another section until I finish the one that I started on. This is how organizing can become not completed because you start on something and you never complete it. You never finish it. And so the job is never done. But now that it's finished, she said that part of her feels really good and she seemed very happy whenever I left. And it's very pleasing to the eye to look at. And everything is organized and it's in a manner that she will keep up. It's what works for her. And that was the important thing for me, is to get it organized so she will continue to use this. For day two, we began on the bookshelf. She had lots of plastic drawer storage and each cube, but nothing was labeled and organized. We set up a table in the next room and made an assembly line. I would bring her one plastic storage drawer at a time so she wouldn't feel overwhelmed, and we started macro organizing her items. Everything scrapbooking would go in a pile. Everything sewing would go in a pile. Everything floral, and so forth. Once that was done, we could see just exactly what we had, and then we were able to micro organize those items. We started at the bottom by making her a mail station for her business. We labeled everything as we went along so nothing would get lost in the shuffle. We were slowly able to start putting the plastic drawers back into the cubbies. She had so much scrapbooking items that we used this rolling cart and we micro organized the drawers into sections that we needed to store all of her scrapbooking items. Everything in the cart is labeled, and this not only makes it easy to put your items away, but when she goes to look for something, she can go to the cart and look for birthday or baby or vacation, and it's all there and it's all organized together. We ran out of room on the cart, so we had these plastic stacking files. We labeled each section and stuck those in the cubby, so that also will be easy access for her. This is now the end of day 2. All the drawers and cubbies are now organized. We set up a bow making station at the top while her mailing station for her business is at the bottom. This is where the bulk of her scrapbooking items will be stored. While we didn't get that section completed, we were able to utilize the rolling cart into micro organization for easy access. When you walk into a room like this, it's like you will never find the light at the end of the tunnel, but you just have to take it one section at a time. And we chose the bookcase as our section, and it looks great. By the end of the day, we had a large garbage bag full of items my client was willing to part with. She was very excited because she could see how the room was going to turn out. For day 3, our goal is to finish the bookshelf and begin the vinyl organization that's on the opposite wall. The vinyl is used for her in-home business, and again, this will have to be micro-organized because there are many different types. She had the organization shelves that we needed, along with long plastic containers we would use for the larger sheets to put on the open shelving. We went back to our assembly line, and I would bring her a drawer at a time, and we would start dividing the vinyl into the different types. Once we got a good start on the vinyl, we also wanted to finish the bookshelf that we worked on yesterday. I started taking things out one cubby at a time and going back to our assembly line. We grouped like things together and labeled as we went along. We had large rolls of vinyl in our bookshelf, which we had to move to the opposite side of the room in our containers. I randomly found a cupcake baking pan in the middle of the floor and decided to throw it in the desk drawer and make an organizer out of it. Our scrapbook paper is beginning to pile up in storage containers on the top of the shelf. Finally, at the end of day 3, we have several garbage bags full of trash, and my client is now saying, "Why do I have all of this? Why did I get this? Why do I need all this?" And I'm telling her, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Day 4 and our final day begins, and our goal is to get the room completed. We have to clean off her desk area and get her work table cleaned off. There are a few totes under the work table that we will go through and organize. Everything now has a place and is labeled. It's just a matter of putting what's left over back in its correct place. We organized all of her t-shirts into drawers and labeled them by size. We put photo frames in the totes on the bottom shelf, and all of her vinyl is stacked and labeled in the plastic storage containers. She has a pegboard above her desk for easy access, and on the top shelf we have overflow of office products. Her work table is now clean with just her necessary tools. Her machine is behind her work table for easy access. We stacked all of her scrapbooks on the bookshelf, and everything is now labeled and has a place. Just 4 days ago, this is what this room looked like. You could barely walk in the room without tripping over something. There was no organization in place, and nothing was labeled. This seemed like an impossible space to organize. We took one section at a time. We did not move on until the one section was completed. We now have multiple workstations set up and everything is labeled. Just wait until you see the after. Who wouldn't be envious of this craft room? Clutter and disorganization can fog the mind. You can feel helpless and hopeless in getting a project done. Cleaning your space will also clean your mind. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.